What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Anthony Sain Show. This is, of course, your host, Anthony Sain. Kenny Stubblefield is behind the internet on the other side of the screen.
Not behind the glass. I'm behind the other side of the internet, man. I'm in that dark web, if you know what I'm saying.
We are taking a break from the studio this summer, and we are doing this thing via the World Wide Web, man. Kenny Stubblefield. This is episode 90, man. The number's creeping up on 100, man. That's wild to see.
What are we gonna do for 100, bro? What are we gonna do?
Gotta do something, man. I'm trying to think who the guest would be. I don't know. We gotta get with Parrish and figure out how we gonna make that thing crazy.
We gotta make that thing pop. Yeah, we gotta figure something out.
I don't know. We gotta figure out something, man, for sure. I don't know. But it's coming soon. That's about 10 episodes away. So that's about a month away? A little bit over a month away. Yeah, we do two a week.
Yeah,
6 weeks away. Yeah, 6 weeks. No, 5 weeks. Yeah, 5 weeks. That'll be.
Yep.
So that'll be the middle of the summer. It's almost going to line up with the anniversary of the first show altogether, though.
That's crazy, right?
Yep. Yeah. That 100 is going to be really close to episode 0 that we started about a year ago when John Morant was in his driveway. Me and you had just agreed on you coming on and working with us. Yeah, the ink was still wet, man.
The ink was still wet, and then all of a sudden, John comes out and does this thing, and you're like, "Let's go to the studio."
We gotta go, man. Now. Screw all that, man. Episode 0, let's get it. We had episode 1, the date recorded set, but nah, screw that. We gotta go 0 right now. It's coming up on that, man. But since then, go ahead.
Hey, I gotta give you a big shout out. Can I just shout you out real quick?
All right, go ahead,
bro. Yesterday we made an announcement, or 2 days ago when this recorded, we made an announcement. We're bringing on the Night Court podcast with Brevin Knight and Rob Fisher on to the Bluff City Media Network. And I got to give you a big shout out on this, man, because like you've been kind of doing the heavy lifting on getting that thing done, and your relationships with those two guys made that possible. And so, man, I just want to say thank you for
appreciate it, bro.
Connecting that, man, and making that happen. So,
man, appreciate it. Like I said yesterday, in the 10, 11 years I've been doing this, I've been gifted to just gain a lot of friends in media, man. Whether you're talking about Jason Smith, who's a really good friend of mine, yourself, me and you were friends before this all started. I could pick up the phone and call Doc Holliday, Jarvis Greer, Mike Wallace.
Right.
Any of these guys I look up as to be legendary guys in the city of Memphis, man. And I've also encountered guys like Elliot Perry, who's a lifetime hero of mine, and Brevin Knight and Rob Fisher for 2 different ways. I got to know them 2 different ways, but those are 2 guys that I do consider friends, and that yeah, man, we're all here together at Bluff City Media. Super excited about it, man. It made me proud to see my interns from Asylum Media Group, Micah and Evan, be excited to call those guys teammates and family. Welcome to the family. Like, that type of stuff made me happy as well, man, to see guys that I'm trying to, get going in this thing, to see them. Yeah, it was just an exciting day yesterday for sure, man, to get 2 major guys to sign to what we're doing here at Bluff City Media, man. And I joked with Jason Smith about it on the show because he was like, man, y'all got to be cashing out real money to get Brevin and Rob. I said, I don't know. I said, I might need to pull him. I need to pull him in the room and renegotiate some shit.
We might need to have a contract negotiation.
Yeah,
soon.
Man.
Yeah. I'm start doing a holdout, right? Like I'm holding out.
Yeah, man. But like I said, we're coming up on my first episode here. Where John Morant made a mistake in his driveway, man. And since then, Ja, as far as off the court stuff, has had pretty much a redemption story. We've seen him pretty much get his shit together, man, with no issues from Ja, nothing. We talked about that with Brevin last time we were on the show. And speaking of redemption stories, Kenny Stubblefield, Kyrie Irving, the transition king for a reason, man. Stop playing with me, bro. Stop playing with me, bro, for real.
This man's the king of virtual and the king of transitions.
Yeah, Kyrie Irving, man, had a
resurgence.
Resurgence, a coming out party, so to speak, in this year's playoffs, man. You're talking about a guy whose reputation just kind of got destroyed over the years. Whether it was wanted out of Cleveland on a team that was an NBA Finals, level team, with him and LeBron. And there's a lot of things with that situation that I totally understood why because people were coming there speaking like LeBron was his effing dad. You know what I mean?
There's that pretty viral press conference clip of that reporter asking Kyrie, is LeBron a father figure to you?
Yeah. Like, I got a dad, man.
I got a dad, man.
Yeah, but
what are you talking about?
There's so many bad narratives about young black men and being fatherless anyway. They're just not true narratives. That's a whole nother discussion that we can have another time.
Yeah.
But just remember all these numbers that talk about fathers in the home. I'll give you 2 startling facts that I learned, Kenny, when I went to a fatherhood conference. Number one, those numbers come from children who get services, whether that's WIC, which is women, infant, and children, which has no mention of fathers at all, or any type of subsidies that mothers get for their children.
There might be a reason why those numbers are being skewed.
Right, that's where those numbers come from. So in those cases, it's beneficial for no father to be in the home, whether that's true or not, listed to be, whether that's your actual situation or not, to get those services. You know what I mean? Yeah. And by definition, my son Gabriel is listed as a child with no father in the home. So,
and we all, every one of us know that's not true.
So if you're in any type of co-parenting situation, technically on paper, your child is listed as being fatherless. So that's just a little food for thought. But that's Anthony Sain, the social awareness mogul himself. That's another side of me that
wait. That's Anthony Sain, the politician. What are you talking about? That's politics,
Sain,
bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Stop being political, bro, on this show, man.
Politics, you're right. It's politics, yeah. Stop talking about politics. Oh, but it's coming more. You got more. Got a lot coming today. You got something at 3.8. You got something inside the same brain. We're gonna get real political in this bitch, for real.
Real political.
So let's get ready for that as the show goes on. But shout out to Kyrie Irving, man. Like I said, on a redemption tour, so to speak. Of course, he had the flat Earth stuff that was hilarious. And I had an article that I wanted to write for Sports Illustrated when I was there. Never got around to writing it about Kyrie Irving. About the whole flat Earth thing, just basically saying, in the world we live in, where we've been lied to about so much stuff, I don't really blame Kyrie, even though I know he's dead ass wrong, for questioning a lot of shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't mind him questioning stuff, but I do admit that he was a clown, because the Earth is not flat. I mean, I think it's somewhere in between, because I have a lot of conspiracies to myself too. I think it's somewhere in between being flat and being a perfectly round ball. I don't think that's true either, but I don't think it's a flat surface. But anyway, I don't think it's a perfectly symmetrical sphere.
I need you to make a tinfoil hat and just put that on when you got
I think it's got some imperfections that make it look more like a doodle ball or something.
Me after a Moulin Bistro night.
Exactly.
No, I think that to me, that whole scenario is more of an indictment on the rest of the world looking at guys who are basketball players for their information on is the Earth flat? Who cares who cares if you know what is circular and round? The ball, like the basketball. Like, that's why I don't even understand. Like, people getting all up in arms about Aaron Rodgers. Like, stop asking that motherfucker questions about stuff that he don't know nothing about. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyway,
Kyrie was saying, like, there's the whole horizon thing. Like, saying, like, if you look out over the horizon, it's flat. You don't see any curvature in the horizon, right? So that was one of Kyrie's reasons why. And somebody zoomed in on the basketball and said it was the solar.
Kyrie's getting his information from places that need funding, like WIC, women, infant, and children.
Exactly.
So hey, there are no fathers in our name.
There are no fathers. Can't be any fathers in the world.
There are no fathers in the world because they don't get.
I went on WIC's website. Each one of these women, every one of these women was fatherless. So
nobody got fathers apparally.
Yeah, exactly.
just like these flat Earth folks. There's nothing round about the Earth, man.
I can. Yeah, it's a lot of weird stuff out there. And Kyrie got into that, and then he started, kind of find himself spiritually. Find himself as far as his heritage, all these type of things. I don't knock him any. I don't knock him for any of these things. I'm not saying these are bad things about him, but during that time, it's kind of like when you're learning something that's new, and you're still a novice in that craft, a novice in that knowledge, or novice in that understanding. You don't know how to portray it to other people, or 100%. How to walk in your truth and not come off as weird or strange to other people. And that's something as both of us are Christians, both of us are believers in Jesus Christ. Right. And that's something where I can't get with some of these dudes. Like, bro, you make what I believe in look stupid, bro. You make what I believe in look weird. Get away from me. Like, that's not what I'm on. Like, and we talked about that with a photo that came out about Michael Porter Jr. and them. Like, like there was a certain group of people we know. Like, bro, like y'all weird, but y'all making. I want to say I believe the same thing as you, but you making it look weird, man. But anyway, so Kyrie went through all this stuff, and ultimately, he had the comments he made that were offensive to the Jewish community, rightfully offensive to the Jewish community. And, you know, it caused a lot of backlash. They let him go in Nike. He probably would have been a guy. He's never been an Olympian. All those type of things. NBA.
Let me ask you this:
top 75, all that. Huh?
Does Ja get a shoe if Kyrie still has the Nike?
I think he still would have. Yeah. Nike's kind of, you know, they've dropped. Devin Booker got a shoe since then. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, I thought Devin had a shoe after that or before that.
Nah, I mean, I think it was in the works. But
okay, gotcha.
Yeah, his shoe didn't drop until after Ja. Devin Booker's shoe just came out this year. So you got to keep
Devin. I thought that this is. It doesn't matter, but
that shoe, we saw the prototype of that shoe, but that shoe didn't actually drop. That was a weird situation too, because we heard that Devin Booker was getting the shoe before Ja. It was announced that Ja was getting one, right? But when Ja's shoes came, it's like they kind of dropped the pictures of it, and the shoe dropped. The Devin Booker shoe pictures dropped way before that shoe actually came out, like probably 6 months before it came out.
They saw the reaction to that first prototype and were like, "Yeah, let's go back into the lab." Bro. That thing is
But no, it didn't change. It's the same shoe. And Gabe wants some of those too. My son Gabe wants some of those. Anyway, so Kyrie has, you know, gone through all these off the court things and things he said on the, you know, as far as coaching back when NBA Executive of the Year Brad Stevens was his coach, things that kind of weirded him out, all these different things. And as a person who is kind of a deeper philosophical thinker, who doesn't really go for everything I see and just wants a deeper understanding of a lot of things in life, I relate to a lot of things that Kyrie Irving says. I just question his approach when it comes down to his delivery, right? But that being said, man, Kyrie Irving was a guy who was traded from Brooklyn, went to Dallas. I questioned that trade. Thought the trade didn't make any sense for Dallas to get Kyrie Irving. We got Luka Doncic, who's a bigger guard, of course, but doesn't play defense. And then you add another guard, a small guard, and Kyrie Irving, who's an on-the-ball guy. And I was like, okay, this didn't work. And it didn't work last year. And I clowned him about it not working last year. But this team now is a game away from moving on to the next round of the playoffs.
And they look tough, man. They look really tough.
And I think whoever wins this series between Dallas and the Clippers will beat Oklahoma City. And they'll be and you're talking about Luka Doncic being on a conference finals team. Something I said would never even happen again. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think they're on the verge of doing it. I think that they, you know, snatched the heart out of the Clippers last night. And the reason why I'm talking about Kyrie Irving is because Luka Doncic, who is the face of that team, one of the future faces of the NBA, has not had a very good playoff series. He's put up big numbers, but
he's put up numbers. Yeah,
his efficiency has not been good at all. I think he's like 2 of 15 or something like that from three so far in this series. But Kyrie Irving has led that team. He's responded well to the media, and you can just see the maturity and growth on Kyrie Irving. Like I said, don't get it twisted. I don't have problems with the things that he believes in, especially the things about his faith, his spirituality, about his heritage, his ethnic beliefs, and all these type of things. I don't have a problem with any of that. But like I said, I did have a problem with him doing things that made things that he believed in, things that are dear to him, look weird to other people. And I do think that it is our responsibility to protect the things we believe in, man. Like I think it's our job not to make the things we believe in look weird. Like I think it's you're very well capable of doing that. You know what I mean? Because if you are in fact trying to lead people to truth and knowledge, you should make your truth and knowledge look like something that's edible and not something that's makes you want to throw up. So, so I do commend Kyrie Irving, man, for just, you know, stepping up and proving a lot of people wrong, including myself, as far as on the court stuff is concerned, and leading this Dallas Mavericks team. And they look good, man. They look hella good. And there's nothing I can say to really knock him.
I mean, I think you're talking about a Dallas Mavericks team who clearly has, as much as you look at Luka and him being the face of that organization, plus, you know, kind of being the younger face of the NBA, if you will. He is, it seems to me, he is clearly kind of like faded to the background a little bit on this series in particular, and allowed Kyrie to kind of take that role over again, right? Like that kind of lead player on this team. But I think Kyrie has played really well for the Mavericks. But man, I'm telling you that PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford,
those trade deadline trades that didn't really seem to make a
Derek Lively, man, really, those guys are the reason why it's Kyrie's resurgence plus those three dudes in particular that I would say has made this team made me go, okay, they're gonna get taken out in the finals more than likely. They're not beating Minnesota, they're not beating Denver, whoever plays them in that series. I don't think, but they're going a lot farther than I thought they would. I think they're going to beat LA, and I think they're going to smoke Oklahoma City. I think they're going to smoke them. But
I have to say I agree, man. I ain't gonna lie, Derek Lively has got me thinking. Just go draft a big man and screw getting a vet. Just go get you a rookie big man and you'll be fine. Like I've thrown out my theories of what I think the Grizzlies are gonna do. I think Jaren Jackson Jr. is gonna start at center game 1 for this team. I think it's gonna be him and BC to start the season.
I don't see that, man. I don't see that.
I see it, bro.
I don't see it. I don't.
If Klingen's there, they're taking Klingen. That's all they're gonna do, man. I don't think
if they take Klingen, I could see Klingen starting.
I don't think he's gonna start day 1 though. I mean, how good of a center is Klingen gonna be day 1 in the NBA? Is he gonna be better than Jaren would be? And that's another thing too, man. I understand that Jaren's a bad rebounder. I'm not acting like he's not, right? But something that we have to keep in mind. It's just natural progression and like guys' bodies maturing. Like Jaren gets bigger and stronger every year. I think that with the healthy offseason, Jaren could easily be an 8 rebound per game guy. Like I think if they focus on Jaren, you got to get boards. I think he could be a guy that'll do it.
No, I think Jaren would be fine. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think this Derek Lively situation has made me go, because I think Klingen is better than Derek Lively, to be honest with you. But I just wonder if they're going to bring in a guy like Donovan Klingen and say, we're just going to get you some starts, get some next to Jaren Jackson and allow you to like get acclimated in these games that.
And I think that would work if that's what they decide to do.
For all intents and purposes, don't really matter that much to these early games. But I think I am still convinced that you're going to see the bulk of Jaren's minutes, and especially in the second half of games, going to be at the 5. And I think you're going to see a lot of BC.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
But in terms of starting, which, and I agree with both you and Parrish, it doesn't matter who starts. It matters who ends, right?
Yeah.
But I just see them bringing out a guy like Donovan Klingen, if they get him, if they have that pick, and just giving him some minutes to get acclimated, get him ready, that kind of stuff. But obviously I still see Jaren playing a ton of 5 minutes. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just don't know if you want to bust out the BC Jaren lineup at the beginning part of the season starting. I don't know. It just for some reason doesn't sit well with me, but
we'll see, man. Like I said, I just kind of feel it, man. I got a feeling that if they do draft a rookie, I can see what you're saying too. I'm not saying you're particularly wrong. I mean, this is just spitballing. But like I said, I can see them in a scenario where they start the season with Jaren and BC and just draft a rookie big and don't go get anybody else. Here's another thing too, man. If you draft a rookie big, right? If Klingen's there and you draft a rookie big, it can work so well because whoever they get to play center is not going to be some 30, 40 minutes per game center. It's probably not even be a guy that they even plan on closing most games, like you said, as center. It's going to be a guy playing between 20, 25 minutes. And I think that's perfect for a rookie, especially a guy who you feel has high potential, like a Donovan Klingen does. Like I said, man, we got Christian Ingram coming on with us very soon today. This is something I'll definitely talk about with him. Tell you what, man, we're going to take a break. When we come back, man, my boy Christian Ingram is going to be in the building for the sit down with Sain. We'll come in, we'll chop it up with some Grizzlies stuff. We'll talk about the draft. We'll talk about some hot button stuff that I know he likes to stand out in front of. We'll do that and more here on the Anthony Sain Show. See you guys in a minute.
I love everything about Ant. We love everything about Ant. From Memphis, from the 901. Ant is your cousin, right? That you like fully embrace. Like he's like, that's my guy. Like I'm gonna ride for him. Listen, he's over there doing his own thing, whatever. Like we don't talk much, but that's my family. And then you have your brother on his same team, in Mike Conley. That is family. We speak all the time. We have blood. Like we've cried together. But then they hang out with these other two dudes that normally
then you got the in-law.
yeah, normally we wouldn't talk to. We would never talk to them. But because our cousin and our brother, they might like them, we put up with them. I can't stand Cat and Gobert, but man.
Come hang out with Daniel Greer and Nathan Qualls on Grizz 901 Live. Every Tuesday night at 9:01 live on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Who would you bet is the center, the true center, quote unquote, for this team next year? Because that's really the only spot that I see that we could fill.
Yeah, well, I think need to fill.
Needs. It's a need.
I would think your starting center's not on the roster at this point. And there are guys available, and I mean the same usual suspects keep coming up. It'll be interesting to see which route they go with the center position. You know, are you looking for a Steven Adams type, or are you looking for a guy that can maybe step outside a little bit more? Or, but if you're doing that, you already have Jaren. So what's the point? Trying to get the same type of player. So
tune in to The Daily Grind with Mark King and Lute Hatmaker at 1 p.m. every Monday through Friday live on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Anthony Sain Show. Got my boy Chris Ingram in the building. Chris, what's going on, my boy? Wouldn't be Chris Ingram without some technical difficulty.
Can you hear me now, Say?
Yeah, back in here for sure.
You know, it's always
over here. For those who do not know, Chris, of course, is the co-host of the No Bluffin Podcast, which you can catch every Monday, sometimes live, sometimes pre-recorded here on Bluff City Media every Monday at 12 p.m. Chris also is one of the co-hosts with me on the Sain Asylum Podcast, which is me and a group of our friends talking about bullshit. I ain't gonna say every Sunday because we've been bullshitting. Most Sundays, we do come together, and a running joke is that Chris is going to come in with some technical difficulties
all the time, man.
Whether it's all on his show, my show.
Hey, man, it's part of the dad life, working from home and all this other stuff.
I get it, bro.
I get it sometime.
I get it, man. So Chris, what's going on with you, bro?
Man, nothing much, man. Just I don't know. Let's just go, man. Let's just go with it. I got a lot that's been popping off over here. I'm actually coming home, so getting ready for that. Excited to be home for the weekend. My birthday this weekend.
Oh, for sure, man.
So trying to turn up a little bit.
Cinco de Negro is going down this weekend. Yeah, we definitely gonna talk about that.
Hold on. No, I got to tell you this, Sain. I got to tell you this, brother. Man, I'm gonna tell you the crazy story, right? My grandmother, she passed. My maternal grandmother, she passed 2018, right? I've been away. I come home. We bury her the 4th of May. No. We bury her the 3rd of May. And on the I'm lying. We bury her the 4th, and we go to this Mexican restaurant on the 5th. And we go like 3 o'clock. I ain't been back home in Memphis at this time probably in a couple years, bro. So we think we finna get us, some tequila, some margaritas.
Slide in and out, right?
Man, when I tell you, probably about 30 minutes later, I see a DJ walking in with just the biggest equipment. Man, about an hour later, when I tell you it was packed in that joint like it was Club Senses back in the day or something, level 2, and you got, women just, I'm talking about twerking all over the chicken and rice, and it was
everywhere,
So we ain't did it in a minute, but I'm like, I gotta come home for Cinco de Mayo because we need to turn up.
Man, we're gonna talk about that inside the same brain. I told Kenny that we're talking about Cinco de Negro, and Kenny's like, hey, what's that? What do you mean? What do you mean? So just sit back, bro. I'm gonna take you on a ride, bro. I'm gonna take you on a ride for sure.
We're gonna find a reason to celebrate, man. I don't care what it is.
Oh yeah, black people, we gonna find a reason to celebrate for sure. But yeah, man, this is also some of the things, like I said, you can hear us talk about on the Sain podcast. Supposed to be every Sunday, but we'll be on some bullshit. But Chris, good to have you on with me today, man. You are, of course, the host of No Bluffin Podcast that I talked about earlier. You and Evan Hayes. Evan's been doing a tremendous job. This is Evan's first year really getting into journalism, getting into content creation. He's a member of my mentoring group, a Solid Media Group. You reached out to him about being a co-host of your show, and it's just been awesome. You guys have a very awesome show. I love it, man. It reminds me of a little bit of Jalen Jacoby a little bit is what it kind of reminds me of, the chemistry you guys have, because you guys talk about, like, you know, real stuff that's just, and I love the dynamic because it's a young man in Evan who I think is like 20 years old, maybe.
Right.
You're younger than me. You're like 31, 32 years old. And y'all have a difference in age, but it's almost like a young dude OG feel, but you're still a young dude yourself. So I love the dynamic you guys show for sure, man. So tell us more about No Bluffin for those people who may be watching who haven't seen No Bluffin yet. Tell us more about the show and just what we can expect every Monday at 12.
Yeah, man, for sure. It's crazy you said the Jalen Jacoby thing, because I didn't really look at it that way at first, and I as we kept going on, I was like, bro, this is really giving that Jalen Jacoby type of vibe. And you know, we try to, you know, we incorporate the hip hop culture or just culture, period. We incorporate that into the show, just not to keep it so heavy all the time, because you know how, man, Grizz Nation be. We'll serious shit out quick. You know, I made a joke a few minutes ago on Twitter, man, because it's a video going viral. LaMelo Ball, he getting his whole back tatted up. And I said, man, watch, the Grizz Nation finna come right behind and say, Ja did it first. We finna be on LaMelo ass.
You know, Ja invented tattoos, man. Yeah.
So, man, just, you know, we try to keep it like, we try to joke, we try to, you know, laugh, but at the same time, just keep it honest about how we feel about the team. Maybe not, you know, echo. I think it's important to have that dynamic of viewpoints on different things. You don't want to come and echo the same things you're hearing on every show, because you know, you can go to the same show and listen to that. But if you hear something a little bit different, you know, I tell anybody, I'll debate a wall as long as we're respectful. Like, I don't care what the situation is. We can always come to the, you know, I think the thing about it is we all want the Grizzlies to win, and so we come about it different ways. But yeah, bro, you're gonna have a good time coming over. And I told you when you came on, when I was in the search for another co-host at the time, I was like, look, man, you kind of laid the pathway where we're trying to take this thing, of just being honest, not trying to be buttoned up, but just being able to, you know, be yourself in this whole realm. So I appreciate you. And like I said, we always look at you to kind of guide from the front, man.
For sure, man. I appreciate the comments for sure. Something you mentioned about your show is that you guys are, like you said, the intersection between sports and the culture, right? And like I said, there's something that makes me tune in to watch you guys every Monday at 12. With that being said, man, we got caught in the crossroads of sports and culture when Ja Morant Aubrey Graham wrote a song called Push-Ups, where he mentioned a line about Ja Morant, right? And then, you know, it takes you back to, because we talk about these kind of things all the time. We talk about four-bats, right? Because a lot of people who aren't really like hip-hop fans like me and yourself, and like aren't like locally connected to Ja Morant, don't understand the connection of the whole four-bat song, right? And the four-bats remix where Drake is making a song where he's talking about Lotto's sister. I can't think of her name. And he's clearly talking about Lotto's sister, right? That song was a Ja Morant. A lot of that in that song was a Ja Morant diss. A lot of fans haven't even caught up on it, because you go back and listen to it, he's clearly talking about Ja, and that's a Ja Morant diss, right? And so, of course, the whole Drake thing went down. And I've had people ask me, like, man, so you still fool with Drake? You still fool with Drake the way he talks about Ja? I'm like, yeah, man. Drake, like, Ja's a basketball player. Drake is a rapper. I can clearly separate the two. Like, I'm not gonna cancel Drake because he's got beef with. So you got girl beef with Ja Morant, you know what I mean? So where are you at on that, man? And let's chop that up for a second.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it validates who Ja is as a person. Like I said, I ain't mad at nobody talking about Ja Morant, because we done went 25 years of history of being in the Memphis, and nobody has ever really referenced our players like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when it comes, I feel
honored that the king of pop himself, Drake, is you know, in a girl battle with our star point guard. I think it's been awesome.
If I wake up tomorrow and Drake dissing me about my wife, hey, brother,
we hitting the same bitches.
That raised my stature. So hey, cool. Hey, we did what it is.
I don't recall like Mike Conley dueling with Jay-Z or nobody back then.
Never.
But Kanye, him and Kanye were buddies though. Him and Kanye were boys.
We ain't never had that. So like, yeah, man, like that just let you know where we at. Hey, this somebody else. This another one. Shit, I don't care.
Yeah. And of course, you know, Drake came back and said, you know, this song is for the hooper who doing the gritty. Clearly, he's talking about Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, whoever that was other night that was doing the gritty for. We ain't talking about job, man. So yeah,
right.
Yeah. Speaking of that, man, what are your opinions of the swagger jacking Oklahoma City Thunder, who look like a bootleg ass version of us? I had Paris Sharkey in the same position you're in the other day, and I said the Thunder look like if you told a cheap AI app, hey, make a picture of a diverse basketball team.
Oh, so damn ugly, man.
Oh my God, bro. They were so just repulsive to look at, bro. Like y'all have no swag. Like y'all coolest dude in y'all team is the shooter that they used to call Ray Allen when he was in high school that came from Arkansas. Good guy. I was just talking about this kid not too long ago. He's probably the most swagged out kid on the team. The rest of those dudes are lame-os, bro. But anyway, don't worry about it.
Casey Wallace?
Nah. The shooter from Arkansas, man. He's get Ray Allen comps.
Shit, I don't know.
Never mind. Go ahead.
I'm good on names. No, I'm like, I don't know which one you talking about.
You know, I'm horrible on names, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
They're horrible. So what's your thoughts?
Man, they get on my damn nerves. Like it's what's so weird about it is the Thunder fans that's on, you know, Twitter or social media, they denying it. Like y'all fighting it back, and y'all clearly see like we laid the blueprint. Y'all see that everything we did was genuine. And you know, it is what it is. Y'all, I mean, they doing it sauceless as hell. It's definitely garbage. Like you said, the players look weird. That dude, he cold as hell. I wanted us to draft him. I think he was in the same draft as LaRaven Roddy, Jalen Williams with the Braves.
Yeah.
He need to take them braids back out. Yeah. He need to take them braids back out, let the curls or whatever do what they gonna do. Yeah. Because man, that man like a little rat, bro. Like him and his brother really
like a straight up cornball. Yeah. And his brother like a fake ass. His brother like 99 Lil Wayne.
Man, little baby Lil Wayne for real. So they just, I mean, it is what it is. I was hoping they was gonna get a better matchup in the first round so they could be humbled a little bit. Yeah. You set them up with a Zion-less Pelicans team, and BI, we know he ain't gonna lead you to nowhere. He just out there really. Yeah. I was like, man, this is gonna be terrible. So I you know, maybe next round they get the Mavs. That's what it's looking like the lineup to be. We'll see some humbling go on so they can be back down to earth like we was, you know, quote unquote. And when we come back next year, we'll show y'all who the real is. For sure. Let's talk about some things that are hot button stuff as far as the Grizzlies are concerned. I'm throwing some stuff out there that I don't know how to do it like Chris Ingram, man, but I'm throwing some stuff out there that people are kind of engaging with. And my latest thing is I believe the Grizzlies, regardless of what they do this offseason, I think they're going to get a low expectation center. I don't think it's going to be a big name center at all. I mean, and I've changed this theory a million times, right? So now today, May the 2nd, when we're recording this is my theory of the day. I think they're going to start the season with Jaren and probably Brandon Clark starting the season, right? And I think I think if a Klingon is there, they take him. I think they run to the podium and go draft him. And I'm almost thinking you might have to bump it to the top 4 to get him, because I think some team up top could take him, could see him as a prospect like that. Yeah. Even though I do feel that a lot of his buzz, because you kind of get this after the tournament buzz, right? You go, okay, like as far as drafting goes, you know, because you're a draft guy. You get these guys who are your guys the entire season, right? Who've been those top 10 picks, right? And then you get this after tournament buzz, and then the mock draft shift. Like they start doing this after tournament buzz, and you get DJ Burns as a late first rounder now, and all this kind of stuff. And then it kind of recalibrates, and the post tournament stuff kind of slides back down, right? So I don't know if the Klingon stuff is real, and I don't think that he was damaged at all by getting worked by Edie in the tournament. I don't think that really is going to damage him at all. But if it does, I mean, good for the Grizz. But I said all that to say, my thought process now is the Grizzlies are going to see how the playoffs are played out, where you've had teams like Dallas who just went and drafted a Derek Lively. Yes, they went and got another center too, but Lively's been hella good for them this year. I think that their plan is going to look like Jaren starting at the 5 with BC at the 4. And Klingon, of course, is going to be the guy you're grooming to be your starting center to slide Jaren down. But I just think you're going to start the season seeing, because whoever's going to be the center they get, right?
It's not going to be some. I'm hearing people saying like Nurkic, right? That's the name everybody's throwing out now.
Please,
Phoenix,
Lord.
And I'm like, okay, is Nurkic going to be a 20 to 25 minute center? Because every year the center minutes have gone down. Whoever the starting center has been, their minutes have gone down. Their number's not going to go back up. You know what I mean? When you had Steven Adams and JV here, those guys never even played 30 minutes a game. Never.
Exactly.
So you'd assume that whoever you get is going to be a guy whose numbers are going to go, minutes are going to go backwards. You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
Where are you at on that today? Because I mean that's where I am. So it seems like me and you both have been all over the place because we've been, you know, whatever name you want to say, me and you both have been. Yeah, oh yeah, I'm down for him. Yeah, go get me him. Yeah, who you got? Who? Shaq or whoever, you know, White House, you know. So
right.
Where are you at as far as big man today?
I'm glad you said today because you know it'll change next week. Weather gonna change next week. Draw's gonna change next week. My opinion.
The lottery happens in a couple weeks. We'll know where we are in the lottery. That affects it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot's going to be a lot different. And then, like you said, even when it comes to draft night, if your plan is to go up to get Donovan Clingan, and like you said, for whatever reason, somebody jump us or trade up and to go grab them, shit, that changes everything. So, for me personally, man, I'm ready to compete. You know, I told Evan last week on our show, I said, Evan, put your climbing hat on. You Evan climbing. So if it's me, if I'm Chris climbing, I'm still trying to go find a starting caliber center. That's just me, because the reasons that I gave for that, I agree with you. The ideal thing for us is to have Jaren as the center. It makes the most sense. I think that maximizes our team in the most, like the best way possible. The problem
you can put the most dynamic layups out there if Jaren is your five. Period.
Exactly.
Like, there's no denying it. Yeah, there's no denying.
Man, that depth lineup of call it what you want. Depth lineup, cheating lineup, whatever, of Ja Bane, Vince, Gigi, and Jaren long term.
If that can work, oh my God, you hell to pay. It's hell to pay. Yeah.
And then you talking about BC being your first person off the bench. I'm cool with that. Like, he can swap with any one of them guys and close games, whatever. The problem is that I have, and I asked Evan this other day, is that if you're talking about the philosophy being that we don't need Jaren to rebound, or we're not asking Jaren to rebound, that's where I kind of have an issue with it, because he went on Chris Vernon's show, and Devin was bringing up and making a joke about how like Greer's trying to get on his ass about rebounding sometimes. Yeah, and I know the players they hear and see that, but it was Jaren's reaction to it was kind of like, they ain't asking me to do that. Like, so they ain't out there focused on it. Yeah. Then you go and you see Anthony Edwards, a video of him going viral where he's like telling his bigs, bro, go rebound, bro, stop fouling. So it's this dynamic of like, are we really worried about or waiting on the coach to tell us to do something, or are we just gonna go out here and do what it takes to win as a whole? If Jaren does that, then by all means, I'm cool with BC being the 4 and him being the 5. But the issue is that if we're gonna rely on that team, we're gonna have to go get us a center. And we talking about who we drafting. I told you the other day, I said, man, I don't care if they trade back to get an additional asset and can go get DeRon Holmes. I like him long term better than I do Clingan, just because he does so much, you know, and allows Jaren to be Jaren.
You talked about DeRon Holmes. I've seen you talk about him. I've seen you talking about Khalil Ware or Khalil Ware. Yeah. See you talk about him. Tell us about those two guys and why you could see them being a fit for the Grizzlies in just more detail.
Khalil he the one that I've been on for like the whole season. I didn't really get on the run till like late, but Khalil was just that 7'2" guy. He showed that he can hit the 3. He showed that he can hit a mid-range shot. The issue with him was like his motor at Oregon when he was there last year. But he went over there to Indiana. They didn't make the tournament or nothing. That's the only thing that I feel like maybe knocked him. But shit, he was the best player on that team. But just long term, looking at him, he's fit with Jaren. I was like, okay, this is another dude that can space the floor. He can do a little bit of everything. He can rebound. He's a big body, things like that. And he don't got no injury issues. He don't got no past, injury concerns that would, kind of be a pause for cause with him. So, if they were to drop down again, I think he's in the anywhere from 14 to 19 range, depending on what market you're looking at. If they want to trade back or trade back in the first and get him, that's an option. But I like him next to Jaren, but he's not going to be your savior for next year. Like Kendric said, he's not your savior. Like, it's going to be a minute for him.
He is not your savior.
No, sir. But with DeRon, now that's a different story, bro. I really think like he was up for some Player of the Year awards. He was up for All-American. He may even make All-American. I need to double check that. But dude, you're talking about I'll give you an example. I gave the Naj Reid thing a couple weeks ago, talking about I wouldn't mind having him. He is in that Naj Reid type of realm. I just think he's more center like than Naj is. Naj is what out there. He gonna want to score on your ass. He don't care about nothing else. But this dude here, he's more of a legit center, but he does have that Naj Reid game where he can take you off the dribble from three. He can't hit the three. He can't hit the mid range. He can rebound. He's a rim runner. And then to top it all off, he does have a body that he can kind of bang with those bigger guys. He's already kind of filled out, so you ain't got to worry about him. With Khalil, he's going to need some weight. He's going to need some years to put on pounds. The run, depending on what you do to kind of shore up that team, you could possibly run him out there next year as your starter or, prime him to come out next year. But them two guys, that's kind of where I'm at. It just depends on, like I said, if you can trade back and get a good, piece to add in. So if you call maybe Atlanta and say, hey, I know y'all got some blowing up issues. We'll let y'all move up in the draft and y'all give us DeAndre Hunter or Boban, what's his name? Bogdanovich. You give us one of those guys. That'll be something cool to do. I think to just get another piece on the team and still get that center that you need out the draft. I like both of them guys.
So where are you at as far as, the one I keep going back to is the Zaire Williams contract, which is I think $6 million, something like that. Yeah, and a second round pick to Chicago for Andre Drummond. That's one I've been throwing that out there for a minute now. Like that's like where are you at as far? It seems like a layup. Yeah, you just go get a veteran big who can start. He'll come out the bench, whatever. He can buy time for whoever your rookie pick is, whether it's Klingon, whether one of the guys you name. I just think that makes so much sense. A lot of people look at the Shaq and the Food stuff with him, the bird brain things he does sometimes. I just think that would just be a great addition. A guy who, if anything else, he's just going to set picks and grab rebounds like crazy. A guy who's had multiple 20 rebound games this season. And when you're playing against teams who have those big men who just dominate the boards, Drummond's a guy, if anything, his physicality is going to dominate a lot of dudes in the league. So where are you at on that particular deal?
Man, if you're watching the playoffs, the game's slowing down, guys getting physical. You can't have enough physical guys on your team. So like you said, like it's a layup if you're talking about sitting out Zaire. We think about moving on from him anyway. I mean, it just is what it is. GG done jumped you, Vince done jumped you. Sorry, bro. Shit, Jake LaRavia damn near done jumped your ass. It's just is what it is. It's over with. So, if that's all you got to do is give a second, which we done kind of stacked up the last 2 years, you ain't really losing nothing. And at the worst part, this is the way I kind of viewed the whole Drummond thing. If he does start for you, great. We know he's not your long-term piece because you're probably going to bring somebody in through the draft. But if he starts for the start of the season or whatever, and he starts doing that funky little stuff he's been doing or whatever, you can kind of merge your draft pick in either this year, late in the season, if he's coming along, or next year. You got to kind of like a changing of the guard. It's like, all right, Drummond, like you helped us out this first year. Now this next year, we need you to be the backup of this center, kind of guide him where he needs to go. Maybe only going to play 10 to 15 minutes. And then if he gets just too damn goofy, you move off or you just let him go. Right. But we need, like you said, we need people that can, at least in this, this particular player we're trying to add, we need them to just fit certain roles. And if you're a big body, can rebound, set screens, hey, bro, that's really all we need you to do. Just don't run Ja over like you ran over Caruso. That shit was crazy.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Yeah, something else is a hot button issue that is a Chris Ingram-esque issue is GG Jackson in the small forward position.
Start GG at the three.
Ain't no need bullshit, man. Just go ahead and get. You have many followers that have been part of your cult following on Twitter. My boy E. Mason is one of them for sure. My boy.
Hey, man. You so stupid.
My boy. Oh, man. My brain is going crazy, man. I keep. What's my boy name? What's my boy real name, bro? Spaces. The Twitter spaces. EJ probably gonna say he was on this before you, bro. You might think you're taking this thing, bro. EJ was like starring GG. EJ is kind of all over the place though. Like he said a lot of stuff very early, so he did get late fame too for sure. So
EJ Dumbers, EJ Dumbers, I give him that.
Yeah, EJ will see something and immediately say, "Okay, let's let this be the thing."
Stamp it.
Jr. Who needs John? Like,
oh no, I ain't seen that wild. That's crazy.
I ain't seen that wild. I know he was on GG Jackson, like first made basket. Start small forward. There he is right there.
Yeah. EJ was one of the early ones for sure. I can say it was probably me, Probably me, EJ, Young Harry. If you talk about Grizz Twitter, that was probably the Mount Rushmore of that movie.
All right, with that being said, man, get your shit off of why GG Jackson should be starting small forward for the Memphis Grizzlies next season.
I'm gonna have more intel for you. We're gonna revisit this. We're gonna revisit this conversation again when I get done with it. But I threw it out there a couple weeks ago, and I ain't had the time to really dig into it because the playoffs. I'm watching the game, and then obviously got life on the background. But when it ain't no basketball on, I'm digging into this, and it's to compare. I had this conversation with Sean Coleman. I talked about it on my show. I am not calling GG Jackson Jason Tatum. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
But what I am saying is I'm comparing their rookie years, their second years, and things like that. Just the trajectory of where they're going, the way that they play, how they were used, and things like that. And even aesthetically, bro, just watch Jason Tatum when he run and move around the court. Him and Gigi had that same kind of like motion. Like it's just a lot of freaky things when you look at it like that. His lower body is not
a lot of
people
saying Paul George. That Tatum comp is a lot more competitive. I mean, comparative for real.
He's not as smooth as PG. That's Brandon Miller. That's Big Miller. I can't take that from him. But when it comes to Gigi, that's my thing. Like I'm looking at I want to really sit down and look at the way that Brad Stevens and that system, how they used and implemented Jason Tatum in, because this is my thing. Like you don't really get 6'10" guys that have guard skills like that can show that okay, I can make he a true 3-level scorer. I've had the argument that he is, you can say job, but when we're talking about the ease of getting to the basket, Ja can get to the basket, but he's gonna have to do a lot of moves a lot of time. He got to run full speed past somebody, jump over somebody. Gigi literally gets to the basket with ease, better than anybody else. Downhill Dez, love what he does, but the thing about Dez is that he is putting the ball in the ground, dribbling hard as hell. He's going full speed, and you see
like his girlfriend watching.
You know what I'm saying? You know how it is. You get in the gym, you just going hard like that. That's D-Bane, and so like with Gigi, it relieves people if he becomes this guy. And so my only thing with that is when you get a talent like that, and I say it all the time, I think if you're talking about taking Gigi at the draft position that we slated to take, which is I'm thinking top 5 once the lottery comes out, but we'll see. If you take him top 5, are you just reverting him to a bench role? I don't think that's true. Now, I do get your point about, talking about with him being the person that's going to have to defend probably the best players on the other team. But for him to say it out of his mouth, that's what I appreciate. Him saying it out of his mouth, say, look, I want to be, a two-way person. I don't want to just be out here scoring points. If he is committed to doing that, and like you said, he ain't Zaire. We know that. We've seen that already. He means the stuff that he says. Zaire just say some shit sometimes. But that's where I look at Gigi's mentality, his track record of what he's been able to do. Man, I don't see just the point of putting him behind somebody because of making everybody else feel good. Now, I got to take that I'm not going to really go down right now.
We shared that take.
But Gigi, he's going to make some people uncomfortable, or he's going to piss some people off at a certain point. Not on the team, but I'm just talking about in the fan base. Some people going to be unhappy in a few years, man, just because I think he's going to be that guy. And I just don't want to slow his development, because of his age. That's really what it is, his age. So,
for sure. I definitely agree with you there. Like I get all the comps. I see the Paul George, I see Jason Tatum. And when I go back to other people and say those guys never were the primary stopper for their teams either. Their role has never been that. And the backcourt of Ja Morant and Desmond Bane makes him where he has to be there. Like that's my only gripe. That's my only gripe I have for the people who say Gigi should start. And like I said, that's why I'm also pushing for this Jaren BC starting lineup, because if you do that, you can upgrade that lineup and say, okay, if Jaren BC works, maybe Jaren Gigi works, you know what I mean, in your front court. And then you can really do some dynamic things. So I think it'll be interesting to see as far as all that goes. I think that just having those options, man, like I think having those options, because we're not talking about starting Zaire Williams, you know what I mean?
Hell no, that's done.
Right. I will talk about Jake LaRavia. I don't have time for that. But I will say this: I think Jake is fine. I think Jake is a guy who you should bring him back next year. I think Jake has shown a lot of promise. I think if you bring back him and Lamar Stevens, I think that you can have a change of pace. You can pick your poison on that night. Like, do you need defensive rebounding? Do you need scoring? You can go either one of those guys as far as the rotation is concerned. I wanted to get back to your day, man. But final topic for my man Chris Ingram, who of course is the host of the No Bluffin Podcast. You can catch every Monday here on Bluff City Media at 12 o'clock here on YouTube, Twitter, however you're watching Bluff City Media. Final question for you, Christian. The hottest of the hot button topics, man. Taylor Jenkins.
He set me up. And Kenny back there giggling.
He's at the house on mute, laughing his ass off because
Daniel Greer.
Who is on crack? You better go into an epic Stephen A level rant. All right, let me set the table for you, bro.
Go ahead, bro.
History suggests that Taylor Jenkins will not be the coach when the Grizzlies are the actual NBA champions. In most cases, in young teams, there is only one example that I can think of a coach who started off being the coach when they were young and then led them to the promised land, and that's Greg Popovich.
Yeah.
Maybe Chuck Daly with Detroit. I don't know. I don't know if Chuck Daly was the coach back then. It definitely wasn't the Jordan Bulls. Definitely wasn't the Golden State Warriors. Detroit Pistons, no. Budenholzer, yep. Budenholzer with the Bucks. Shout out to Kenny. He was there. He was the coach. No, he wasn't the coach the whole time.
He wasn't?
Bud was the coach in Atlanta. Was he there for the whole rebuild of the Bucks, though?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. From the time they drafted Giannis. Okay.
No, he wasn't the coach when the Bucks.
Jay Kidd was there. You're right.
Yeah, he wasn't the coach then.
Yeah.
He was the replacement of Jay Kidd. But history suggests that I almost said Lionel Hollins, that Taylor Jenkins will not be the coach that get the Grizzlies to the promised land. That's all I'm saying. Like, history suggests he's not going to be that dude. Yeah. I know you've went on many rants about Taylor Jenkins. I know you would dissect him several times within the game, right? So, I mean, and I understand people who say he's a good coach, he's a culture coach, all those type of things. I don't think he's a bad coach. And I've seen teams win championships in spite of a coach that's not a good coach, right? I've seen teams win championships in spite of bad coaches. You know what I mean? Like Frank Vogel won a championship for the Lakers a few years ago. I don't think he's a good coach. I think he's pretty ass. You know what I mean? They turned around and fired that dude a couple years later. I don't think Budenholzer is a great coach. He's, Taylor Jenkins with, a little bit better PR, a little bit more years on. You know what I mean?
That whole tree ain't talking about nothing, right?
Yeah, he stayed in the oven a little bit longer. He rooted in the ground of the coach pop tree a little bit longer. But with that being said, man, like, what are your honest thoughts about Taylor Jenkins? Like we can turn the volume down about 7. Just get your honest takes off about Taylor Jenkins.
You know what? Like, I try to give him his props, right? Like, he came in, he created the culture, he got them guys to where they were confident in themselves, right?
Right.
I can't take that away from him. I always say that, like, when it comes to out of timeout plays, he's one of the best in the NBA. Can't take that away from him. It's a lot of things that, are the guys empowered, to be second in the West for these last 2 years that they were. Without the way that he's, approached the game and things like that, I can't say. Maybe not. You know what I'm saying? If you come in with a hard-nosed, hammer-down guy them first couple years with Jackin, maybe it goes the other way. So I give him his props in that. But what I have said for the last 2 years, and I'm standing on this, is that when it is time to go across the peak, try to, on the other side of the mountain to go ahead and compete, he hasn't shown me those things. And so, when it comes to, like I said, getting Dylan Brooks in a specific role, Udoka, he did great with that up until probably the last month. What the hell?
Dylan was like, I took all I could take.
He was jumping out of his skin, bro. He couldn't
bullshit coming.
But what it was, I feel like he saw Jalen Green finally get it together. So he like, oh, Jalen Green finna come back and be himself. Nah, man, I can't have that. So
you know how me. Damn, this season. We did about to make the play in. Damn, it's Dylan time. It's villain time.
The worst time to be
just screwed up the whole season.
Man, so that's when I really got on it as far as with him. I'm like, man, if you can't really reel him back in to say, look, bro, we are or can be a championship team with you here. What you bring is needed. It's just we got to get you, dialed in into a certain role. When he couldn't do that, really 2 years in a row, I was like, I don't know. When you start talking about in-game adjustments, the way that he kind of leaned in, his feel for the game is not that great. My thing is this, and I asked Evan this on our last episode, shout out to Sean Coleman. He talked about, he talked about this probably the second week of the season, how hold on, y'all. Yeah, it looks bad right now, but typically Jenkins gets it together on defense probably around January. Give it time. It's just shown that it's like that. I kid you not. Now, Ja Morant coming back played a part in there. Let's not act like, they didn't play a part. but they did look like a lot better defensive team when it came January. So I asked Evan, I said, look, if he's been deemed this defensive guru that we've kind of, everybody in the NBA has kind of known him to be or whatever, would it be wrong for him if he wants to save his job to say, all right, I know y'all are good at defense. We got 2 defensive players a year as it currently stands with Marcus Smart and Jaren Jackson. You got Vince Williams that could be that type of player eventually. If you bring back a Lamar Stevens, which, you know, I want him to be back next year, that's 4 guys that are hard-nosed defensive players. Scheme don't matter with them.
Right.
How about we just switch our philosophy to say, you know, instead of trying to lock everybody down, we got defensive, we got competing players. Let's find a way to make our offense top 5 instead of worrying so much about having our defense be top 5. If he can do that, which, you know, he talked about bringing in what's his name, Patrick St. Andrews to kind of help with the offense.
Shit,
I didn't see much of a difference.
After a while. They tried to change it up like the first few weeks.
That's it.
Getting a check after that. All right, I'm here.
They reverted back. You know what I'm saying? And so, or it went to Jaren go get a bucket. And it's like, this ain't winning basketball. You know, if y'all are watching the playoffs right now, you can see that the teams that are winning, man, these folks playing ball, disciplined ball at that. And, you know, you just got to find a way to incorporate your best players the best way that you can. And so if he can do that, I think he saves his job. But 5-6 years in, I haven't seen anything that says he's going to do that. Yeah. And that's why I say, you know, look, good guy. I ain't got nothing bad to say about him as a person. It's just they in a time where they need to compete. And so if you can get somebody in that can do that, to help them, you know, get to that point, that's where I'm at on it. But if he come back next year and we get in a deep Western Conference Finals run or a championship run, I walk everything back. My bad, bro. You got it.
Yeah. My whole thing with him, man, is that, like, his adjustments just take too long. Like, a perfect statement for Taylor Jenkins is things that should be third quarter adjustments become third game adjustments in the playoffs. And that's not, you don't have the luxury of screwing off multiple games in the playoffs. You got to adjust mid-game, you know what I mean? So that's always how I viewed him. And just looking at this season, a good thing I will say is that one thing I say is a characteristic of a good coach is then when you can name several games during a bad season where you said that game was not supposed to be that close. That game was not supposed to be won.
He won.
I can name a lot of games this season the Grizzlies won where it came down to where you have to give Taylor Jenkins credit for those things, right? Just like I say, you can't knock climbing, but then praise Vince and Gigi because they drafted those guys too. You know what I mean? It's the same. You know, you have to get a props where props are due. But my whole thing was that beginning of the season, man. That first 25 games, I'm not the guy who's gonna say, well, Jaren's an all-star and Bane's this. Well, they should have been this. I don't think they should have been a good team, but they should have been better than what they were, man. Like that team, when you had Marcus, you had some of Marcus Smart, you had some of Luke Kennard, you had Santi. In and out, sure. But that team should have found a way to win more games than they did in the first 25 games of the season. And that's when the height of when me and you's run of going off on Taylor Jenkins was at his peak. He was doing that stretch. He was like, nah, man, don't tell me. Because if this is what this team is without Ja, they're not good with Ja. And we saw how good, you know what I mean? They shouldn't be good with Ja. So, and like I said, and we saw him turn that team around to be, you know, a top 10 defense in the league, which made no sense at all with the amount of guys that came in and out. But like it's hard to figure out kind of who he is. But at the end of the day, man, like I've been saying the whole time, some stuff not even worth arguing about because next year the proof is going to have to be in the pudding. Like that roster is going to be solid. It's going to be set. You know they're going to have a big man on this roster as well. Probably a starting one according to how you see things going. So hey, either you get it done or you don't. There won't be anything to argue about. But Chris, man, I appreciate you coming on, man. I know you're a busy man. Catching you in the middle of the day, hopping on with me.
No problem,
like I said, this is my boy Chris Ingram, man. One of my favorite guys, one of my favorite voices in Grizz media, man. Young, up and coming dude. I live vicariously through him, through a lot of stuff. So my boy Chris, check him out. No Bluffin Podcast, along with my man Evan Hayes, every Monday at 12 here on Bluff City Media. You guys have been a great addition to the network, man, and what we're doing here. And I just hope more and more people go and check you guys out. Man, y'all gotta get me on, man. Y'all, I've been begging like a groupie, man. I'm out here looking like Drake, man, trying to hop on, do a collab with y'all, man.
This Monday.
I bet.
This Monday. You on? We got it.
Lock doing a home and home, man, for sure.
Yes, sir.
Me and my boy Chris Ingram, man. Well, Chris, we appreciate you, bro. We about to take a break, man. When we come back, the 3-pointer is here on the Anthony Sain Show. See you guys in a minute.
right now, it looks like they lost out on Jaden Quaintance, so that's over with. They need some bigs, but if the NIL package is what they were saying it was going to be,
exactly,
and the fact that he's 17 years old and may need a little bit of time for seasoning, it just felt like it was a little bit too much to overcome in his recruiting process. He lands at Arizona State where he can have more of a hold on a roster.
Of course, he is supremely talented, probably will be a lottery pick in the NBA at some point. But it's like, does it take him a year? With him being so young and so raw, do we allocate these resources to players that are proven and that we know can help now and maybe have 2 or 3 years of eligibility left? Or do we allocate them to a 16, 17-year-old 5-star that is a little bit more of an unknown because you just haven't seen him play at this level yet? So
tune into On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
How much of it do you think is David Jones' potential return, not return? How much does that affect a guy like Bamba committing?
I think the two of them can play together side by side, but ultimately it's going to affect somebody on this team. I think it's a good sign that he has not entered the portal, given the new, even graduate transfers have to enter the portal by May 1st. But it would not surprise me to look up after, I don't know when all the pre-draft stuff is over, but him officially come back and then somebody deuce out because they were like, oh, I thought I was getting sort of a more starting role, potentially playing 25, 30 minutes a night. Now DJ's back, and that's going to take somebody's potential PT away. Ultimately, it may just really be him wanting to take all of his visits and see what ultimately is the best situation for him.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Anthony the Sain Show. Super dope segment with my man Chris Ingram. Man, I saw Chris. I heard Chris speak for the first time in Grizzlies Twitter Spaces. I was like, this dude doesn't sound like your typical Grizz Spaces ranter. You know what I mean? Like he was making some very good points in there, and I was liking the stuff he was saying. And I said, yeah, that dude's got potential, man. I was like, he's gonna be okay one day. And yeah, Chris has been amazing. I'm gonna tell you another story about Chris. I've never told you this, bro. I met Chris years ago and didn't realize it was the same person. I do graphic stuff, right? Logos, I do my shirts or whatever. And somebody referred me to Chris for a business him and his wife were building. And I made a logo for Chris a while ago. And he reminded me of that once we got cool on Twitter.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, yes. A super cool story. Great interview with Chris Ingram. Check out their show, like we said, every Monday. 12 p.m. here on Bluff City Media, as well as after the show today. Check out the Two Bucks podcast with Rusty Buckets and Buck Nasty.
Buck Nasty, Uncle Buck.
Nugget and what are their names again? Help me out.
Rusty Buckets and Uncle Buck, man.
There you go. Rusty Buckets and Uncle Buck. There you go, man. I don't give a buck. There you go.
I don't give a buck.
No, my guys, check them out, man. For real though. Really good show comes on every Friday at 3. Two of North Mississippi's finest, man. Check them out. Doing their thing.
I just gotta tell you, bro. It took every ounce of me to not jump in that segment and just go off on Chris.
About what? What did you say about?
Listen, just go behind the fourth wall for a little bit. Like, we have a little bit of a Bluff City Media group chat between some guys in the
bloodline.
We call it the bloodline.
Yeah.
Me and Chris go at it pretty good.
All the damn time.
Like, pretty good. It took every ounce of
those. Y'all be Kyrie, like drinking Kendrick for real. Y'all be them swinging at each other.
I was feeling real euphoric during that segment, man. I want to come in and talk to that man. That man, listen, Chris, but I will say this about Chris. Chris will say some real crazy shit, but then like written words,
he'll have so much behind it,
and then he has so much behind it. You're like, okay, man, I feel what you're saying. I feel what you're saying.
He ain't just running his mouth for sure.
No, he's not. He's good. He's good at debating. But man, that dude, I love that. I love that show. Listen, man, that No Bluffin Podcast is like a it's only been on video podcast at BCM for about a month or maybe 6 weeks, something like that.
Yeah.
If you're not paying attention to that show, you're missing out. Like, it is a low key, a real good show. Yeah. So you get a lot of the craziness with Chris. You get Evan, who's awesome at what he does. But those guys are great, man. Those guys are really, really good.
Check them out, man. But yeah, I might screenshot y'all some bloodline group chat stuff between Kitty and Chris, man. It's like y'all be ready for each other.
Yeah, I'm ready. I came in, I started rolling my eyes. As soon as he came on the screen, I was like, shit.
Oh man! Speaking of eye rolling, man, Collierville High School,
bro. Hey man, that's my alma mater, man. Come on, man.
Tell your people to do better, bro. Tell your people, bro. Hey, which is also whenever white people come to me and say, "What can I do to help?" Hey, just go tell your people to do better. We don't need you on the front line, man. Just go tell your people to do better. We don't need you to protest with us.
I got a lot of thoughts. Man.
Come on, man. Let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about it, bro.
Obviously, the history, and I'm trying to like kind of decipher like how much to talk about, that kind of stuff. Because I'm not on the inside. I used to actually play ball for Collierville High School, so it's like I got a lot of history there. Like, obviously went to school there for 4 years. It is interesting to me, like Collierville has become, like, if you go out to that campus, bro,
it's a university.
It's bigger than the school that I went to, the college that I went to. I mean, it's pretty unbelievable. But like, Collierville's never been good at basketball ever. Like, we had one dude my junior year of high school. He's a freshman. Guy's name was Paul Walker. White kid, 6'8", freshman kid, came in and played. Shit went down. He had to leave, all that kind of stuff. Like, we've never had any really good players at Collierville High School. Obviously, Nikki McCrae is a alumnus of Collierville High School. Rest in peace. But
baby, glad it wasn't more than one Nikki McCrae on the team. We would have never known Nikki McCrae as we know her.
The boy. So we got two different stories, right? Like, we got two different things happening. Sean, former University of Memphis, 2008.
Former Tiger, so to speak.
Former Tiger.
I call BS with a lot of stuff. This Tiger stuff that y'all say is a lot of stuff y'all say is real is not real to me, because this is a former Tiger now. That's the coach of this team, right? Like, he's probably volunteering. I don't know if they're paying him or not. But
he was getting paid. He was getting paid well.
All right.
Cedric Henderson was the coach before that.
Yeah, different situation I've heard over there with him though. But go ahead.
His was hilarious. Cedric's situation was, by the letter of the law, they had to let him go, but it was freaking hilarious what happened. Anyway, before that was another coach who left on really bad situations. I'm not going to say his name because, whatever.
I think I know but go ahead. Yeah.
But so they had two former Tigers in a row coaching at Collierville High School. Now, Sean Taggart has been there. Sean was the assistant coach for years at that school. Under both of the previous two head coaches. He stayed around, got married, has kids, lives in the Collierville area. Just a great situation. Like, I saw Sean the day that he got hired by Collierville, and I went up to him and I was like, man, as an alumnus of Collierville, I'm super excited about this. Like, this is incredible. He has not come out and said why he's being let go. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But the ladies coach spilling some tea, right?
Hey,
and I've got I know her. Like, she used to coach at a middle school, and she was always around at when I used to work for that organization that me and you met at.
Yeah,
they used to do a Thanksgiving basketball tournament, and her team would always come in and play. And so I know her well. I know her story. And man, she's coming out spilling some daggum tea.
Hey, let me drop this joke real fast. We joked earlier about white people that are allies to the fight, right? White people being allies to the fight, right? Nobody It was an ally to black causes, like a white woman with black baby. It's hard to find. I challenge you to find somebody.
Oh man. I mean, it was wild to me, man. Like to read this story. It was wild to me to read this story and hear this coach say the white privilege is racism. Like,
it is, bro.
Okay.
Have we properly set up the story? Have we properly set up the story to the people who do you think we need to recap what's going on?
Well, basically, both of these head coaches have been told they're not going to be rehired.
Winning coaches,
coaches that have brought a lot of wins.
Historically good coaches on these schools.
Well, I mean, Sean's only been around for a couple of years.
But did he win did he win their league or something?
They ended up losing. I think they didn't make the playoffs this year. They ended up losing to the eventual state champion. I forgot the name.
But I'm saying,
it's in the article.
I saw him with plaques in his hand. Like, didn't they win like their district or whatever?
They did. I don't know. I don't know if they did under Sean as the head coach. I cannot remember. I know they did.
Pictures of Sean with plaques in his hand, though.
Well, he's also been the assistant coach since.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Those other two. So, I don't know. I can't tell you the exact time frame, to be honest with you. But Sean has brought winning to that program. The Collierville's a much better team now than what they were a few years ago. The Collierville women's team, the girls team, they're a much better team than what and so it is a little odd, right? Like that these two winning coaches who have history in this city as basketball people are not being rehired. And there's really not been given any excuse other than they fulfilled their contract. And it's like, okay, well then re-sign them to another extend that contract.
Yeah. And for those
administrators have chosen not to. So,
and for those of you who don't know, if you read the articles written by Mark Giannotto, the article he wrote for the Commercial Appeal,
John Barlas wrote one for Daily Memphian.
Yeah, Barlas wrote one for Daily Memphian. I saw Giannotto in passing yesterday, so I talked to him about it, and I'm like, "What in the Remember the Titans are we doing, bro?" Like this is 2024, man. And this the lady who's the coach, you know her name. I had her name, I didn't write it down. The lady who's the head coach of the girls team, she says that these are parents of middle school kids who are on the way to the school next year who wanted her gone because they didn't see how their kids were going to get minutes. These are white kids we're talking about, right?
Right.
And she has a lot of black girls on her team. Taggart has a lot of black kids on his team. And the parents there feel away because they don't see how their kids are going to play for these schools. I'm like, bro, what and you talk about DEI hires and all these type of things. What is this shit? Like,
it's
breaking news, man. Black kids are really good at sports. Hey, I hate to break that reality here.
But even in the sense of like, you talk about is the assumption being made by these parents that Sean Taggart and this women's coach are going and recruiting these kids into the Collierville school system from outside of Collierville. These kids live here. These kids live in the city. I live in Collierville. I'm in Collierville right now. Like these kids live here. It's not like they're going out and grabbing a bunch of kids from all over the country and bringing them into the city. Like these kids are here. So it's like, what's the problem? Like, hey, Collierville's a diverse city. Like there's a lot of black kids that live in Collierville.
Right. And you can put you could hide your head in the sand and probably think this reality that it's not, but there are a lot of black kids in Collierville.
Yeah.
And here's another thing too, for the people who say, oh, this isn't racism, they're just whatever. If Sean Taggart and this lady, I mean this woman that's a coach, if this team was a bunch of white kids, it would not be the same level of smoke. Like I don't believe that. I believe that if they were, why do you think your freshman ass kids are going to play anyway? Like in what situation do they walk in being able to play regardless? I think the level, the amount of black kids on those teams is an issue. I remember Wendy Thomas, who writes for she's the founder of MLK 50.
Right. Awesome person.
She wrote an article about just different things about sports bringing us together, how much BS that is. I co-signed that for sure. And she was talking about how when you look at what we call multicultural churches in Memphis, right?
Yeah.
Or just anywhere where you say multicultural church, 8 times out of 10, if something's multicultural, the pastor of that church is a white man.
Yep.
That multicultural church is not led by a black person, more than likely.
Right.
And then she said something that was really on point. And she was saying, like, things are multicultural until the multiculturals are the majority.
Right.
And once that happens, and it usually happens around the 35-40% mark. Once it gets 30 to 35% non-white, that's when the white people typically will say, okay, let's go take this church and go start this church. You know what I mean? That's what that typically happens. And it's the exact same thing. You
call it something like New Covenant. We're
exactly.
part of a new covenant.
I hate to say one of y'all churches' names, but I mean, I can tell you plenty of examples
Yes.
of churches that started off white and then they got multicultural. And it's like, hey, and they stood on the multicultural. They
Right.
put that out in front of us that we're a multicultural church, and it was a little bit too multi up in this bitch.
We have a little bit too much culture happening.
Let me go back to some old school Jesus.
Amazing.
Right. A little bit too multi up in this mug for me, man. But yeah. Like Tiger football and basketball games.
It's weird.
And that 80s run got a little bit too multi, man. That the Larry Fisher era got a little bit too multi for the folks, bro.
I do feel like somebody from Collierville is going to have to come out and make a statement about why because it is not.
You just can't sit on this, bro.
The statements that are being said. I mean, clearly the two specifically the women's coach is coming out and she's saying she's lobbing some pretty heavy accusations.
Oh, yeah,
and I listen. I don't me and you have been around enough of these basketball teams, these tournaments where you see a bunch of people coming in from all over the place. And it is, there's always one group of people that walk into the gym and I immediately go, oh shit, this is about to get wild. These parents are crazy. And
no.
It's they come in and they got a green bee on the back of their car.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so it's a thing where is what she's saying like far out of the realm of possibility? Absolutely not. Like I don't disagree. I don't like she's been a part of these conversations. Collierville administration is going to have to come out and say something like to either dispute this or to confirm it or whatever it may be, because these are some, this would be, as an alumnus of Collierville, this would be an incredibly disappointing if this is true, if the reason she's not being rehired because a bunch of middle school parents that have white kids are coming up and saying, you know, get her out of here because she's got too many black girls on the team, that is so far beyond the pale. I don't even understand it. And so I really do hope to get serious about the situation. They need to come out and say something to dispute this, because this is only these grenades that are being lobbed at the Collierville High School administration or at the Collierville School administration are further advancing these ideas about Collierville that I don't believe are necessarily true. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my head's in the sand. I don't know. I hope not. But they need to come out and say something.
Well, can anybody who did the great the great exodus of Shelby County schools and started a municipal district, hey, it's kind of fits in that same wheelhouse.
No, man, I feel you. I feel you.
Real, bro. You know what I mean?
I feel you.
Same energy. It's the exact same energy.
It is the same energy.
Man. We're gonna move on, man, because I think we had another race. Oh, we got a little bit more. The next segment, we got a little bit more. So y'all stay tuned. Number 2, man. I'm talking about some NBA playoff stuff. The Phoenix Suns, James Jones and Matt Ishbia, their governor. Hey,
y'all good.
Hey, we good, man. We straight. I'm not. Who am I to argue with y'all?
Hey.
Who am I to argue with y'all?
Keep
y'all
doing what you're doing.
Hey, keep it just like y'all got it, man. Hey, go. Hey, you want you to want to not be back? Hey, we gave y'all big body Roddy. You can give you the back. Hey, you need a Zaire Williams. Who else you need on a good cheap contract, man? Who else you need, man? I got you. Jordan Goodwin. What you need, man?
They're not far off, Sain. They're not far off.
Yeah,
they're right there. There's not. What did Matt Ishbia say? There's not many teams in the NBA that would not choose to be in the position.
Wish they could be in our position, getting our ass bounced in the first round with a horrible Brad Beal contract
with
no
$700 million in contracts with guys.
Grayson Allen out here overpaid, running around tackling folks and trying to hurt hurt folks out here. Yeah, there you go. That's what everybody wants to be, man. The Phoenix Suns.
Be that guy.
And then my boy James Jones came out there and said, "Hey, man, I think hey, ain't nobody using KD better than how we used him." Oh, okay. I guess that Golden State Warriors thing never happened out here, man. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
wild.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, Phoenix. Ain't nobody trying to be like y'all. Shout out to y'all though, because y'all about to go through real hell in the coming years. Hey, but free Devin Booker. But number 3, man, Tiger basketball update. My man TJ Bamba got on down on us, man. Said he's going to Oregon. I ain't mad at the kid, man.
I ain't mad at the kid. Nope.
And I think the reason why that happened is what I said at the beginning of this whole recruiting transfer portal thing. The David Jones thing, no matter how you try to dress it up, is out there. You know what I mean?
It's out there.
One of the highest scorers in college basketball last season, big time scorer, big time shooter. David Jones is actively trying to see where he is in the NBA draft. He made an announcement the other day, which is good news, of course, that he's not entering the transfer portal. So the options are U of M or NBA, right? I don't know, man. I definitely don't think he's going to get drafted. I could definitely see a team having some two-way interest in David Jones. And I could definitely see that for sure. Him being
Do you have to be drafted? Help me understand the contract. Do you have to be drafted by a team to have a two-way contract, or can you be picked up and then put on a two-way?
You could be undrafted. Like John Conchar is a name, for instance.
Got you.
He wasn't drafted, but the Grizzlies signed to him. I'm trying to think who recently. Kenneth Lofton was
he was drafted.
He was drafted. I'm trying to think somebody else recently who we've had that was on the two-way. I know John Conchar was, but yeah, like it's we've had dudes on two-ways I forgot about, but those guys were undrafted. Like you don't have to be drafted to be on the two-way, but you would have to be draft eligible. You can't take a kid that said I'm removing my name from the draft and then hey, David Jones that plays for Memphis, I want to give you a two-way contract. Like you can't do that. You have to be someone who's eligible for the draft and goes undrafted or picked to be on a two-way. So that's good. It's what's that date, man, where he has to decree or declare?
I think it is.
It's this month. It's
May 29th, I think.
Oh shit, the whole month. Oh damn.
I think. Let me check real quick. Draft. What should I put in? Draft.
I don't know. It's this month though, and I know that's gonna. I know Penny's gonna lose it.
Yeah.
I know Penny's gonna lose it. Worrying about that.
He has. I think it's May 29th. If I'm correct, I might be wrong on that. But I think it's May 29th is the early draft. Like you have to be out of the draft. You have to declare or you have to get out, kind of a deal. So yeah. So we'll see how that whole thing goes. Without a doubt, David Jones's situation, I do think
it
played
murks
a role.
up a lot.
Yeah, it kind of gets a little bit murky, right? So it's like, do you think, even though I think TJ Bamba and David Jones could have played really well together, clearly TJ was like, man, listen, maybe I want to go to a place where I'm going to be on the ball more. I want to be, kind of featured in the offense more. But and you bring David Jones back and it's his offense, right? Like, him and PJ Haggerty and Tyrese Hunter. So
what's Oregon's coach name?
Oh my gosh.
It's on my tongue too. I know his face again. Anyway, let's say I'm Oregon's coach, right? And I'm talking to TJ Bamba. I say, hey, so how did that Memphis visit go? What are they telling you? Oh man, they're telling me that, even if David Jones comes back, they can play him at the 4, man. I could be the 3. Oh, okay, that sounds good.
That sounds good.
I'll tell you something. Hey, Penny gonna do some weird shit, man. You're gonna be on the bench by the time. Sometimes you're gonna be on the bench. Sometimes you're gonna start. Sometimes you're gonna be playing at the 2. Hey, come on over to Death Row, man. Where you just got normal shit going on.
Yeah, the head coach at Oregon is Dana Altman. And he is. He's a hell of a coach. Like, let's be frank. Oregon's a good school. Like, it's a great place. The fact that it was between Kentucky, Oregon, and Memphis is a good. Memphis is right there with all these big schools. They got Oregon's got Nike behind them. They got a crap ton of money. Whatever. But I do think when I read that this morning that TJ was going to Oregon, I was like, man, this is just the David Jones effect right now. Like of not really knowing where he's going to go and what he's going to do.
It's not a knock at the kid, man. Like,
no,
I saw some comments about, I hate these guys don't want to compete. Now, like, man, these dudes are playing for their career, man. Like, they're not going to go anywhere where they feel like they're going to be coming off the bench at all. Like, that makes perfect sense, man. It's just like saying, hey, Ja, why don't you and no, why don't like Devin Booker, why don't you and Anthony Edwards go play for the same team? No, man, like no.
Hey, don't you want to compete? Don't you want to compete, Devin Booker? It's like
no, I want to start. Man.
No, I want to play.
I'm not screwing around. Yeah, exactly. Hey, John, why don't you go play with Trae Young? You know what I mean? Like, why don't you and Luka team up? Like, no, man, I'm good. You know, I'm good right here being the starting point guard in Memphis. So,
right,
yeah, right. I get it. I know people. If I know Tiger fans, we're gonna kill the kid on social media. But who cares? I mean, but
no, I would hope not, man.
Yeah,
y'all keep it.
We'll
chill,
be fine.
Bro.
And if I just kind of hate this, man, because I hate for this to be a situation like we saw, you know, a year or so ago with Lester Quinones, where we're got a guy who's lingering out there. Lester felt a lot more solid to stand on than DJ feels, but I hope that this kind of works out in Penny's favor for sure.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah. But man, we're gonna take a break, man. We're gonna discuss Cinco de Negro for Inside the Same Brain.
What?
My good friends at
what?
My good friends at Create A Cig. We'll see you guys in a minute.
Cat, I finally was able to kind of like, I think, nail down what it is we hate so much.
All right.
About Cat. Mike Conley, you know, that's the kind of guy that we fell in love with as Memphis basketball fans.
Right.
Like, dude, he is going to steady the ship. He's going to keep it here. Like, no matter where the waves are going, Mike's going to make sure that ship gets through the storm. Karl Anthony Towns is the Kroger bag that got loose in the middle of the storm, and you always know exactly which way the wind's blowing. I can look at Karl Anthony Towns' face, and I know exactly if things are going good or going bad for him. Like, that dude is going to give you every theatric. The dude could star in Wicked. I swear. He's out there just doing pure theater. He is going to be the guy that if they're losing or he's playing bad, or if they're winning but he just got a foul, you're going to know just by looking at his face. You don't have to watch the play. And we hate that.
Right.
We can't stand it.
Come hang out with Daniel Greer and Nathan Qualls on Grizz 901 Live. Every Tuesday night at 901 live on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. At Create A Cig, our top priority is to provide the best customer service experiences possible while offering the largest variety of vape supplies, legal THC products, and smoking accessories. Our trained sales associates are here to assist any and all customers to help them find the best products available. With our daily deals, weekend deals, loyalty rewards program, and our punch card program, there are tons of rewards to earn to help our customers save plenty of money along the way. Check out one of Create A Cig's 4 locations across the greater Memphis area and come visit us.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Enter the Same Show. Final segment of the show. We call this Inside the Same Brain, sponsored, of course, by our good friends at Create A Cig, man. 4 area locations. One of the greatest, like, customer service experiences you'll experience in the city of Memphis. Like I joked last week, other day, I mean, these guys are like the Chick-fil-A of smoke shops, man. Create A Cig, 4 area locations. You might see me at the Midtown location on 10 North McLean. I'll be in that joint, man. The crew there is super excellent. Chris is the manager there. But whether Chris is there or not, man, a very enthusiastic team. They get to know you by name. Super nice crew over there, man. Like I said, informative. Whether you're a big-time smoker of Delta 8 products or you're a nicotine user, what level you're on, whether you're experienced or you're a novice, they got you. They'll hold you by your hands for sure. Because there's a lot of things that I even have questions about that they're definitely able to help me with over there. They keep my medicine bag full, man, the stuff I need to do my thing out here at Kenny Stubberfield. And I was talking to some friends of mine because we had such a good time at 420, and we're planning a Cinco de Mayo smoke fest as well that I'll definitely swing by Create A Cig to grab some more products to make that happen. Might go pick up the Sain Asylum pack, man, like you should be getting. The one, either the nicotine pack or the Delta 8 pack. It comes with a variety of products. to fit your needs, man, to get that experience you want, man. I'm telling you, for all my DA users, for all my knickers out there, go do what you need to do. My nicotine users, my real knickers, go do what you need to do, man. Go get you a Sain pack, man. I'm trying to tell you. But yeah, Kenny, like I said, on Cinco de Mayo, I do plan on getting with my friends, man. We're gonna get smoked out, loked out once again. We had such a good time for 420. We're talking about doing this again on Cinco de Mayo. And Kenny Stubblefield, you seemed a little surprised when I told you my notes this morning about what I plan on talking about today. When I said Cinco de Negro, you were wondering where this was going.
Yeah, I usually put banners up, and I'm just gonna leave this banner alone because I don't know. I don't want to.
Don't put Cinco de Negro up, though. You ain't gotta do that, man. You ain't gotta do that. I'll leave you out of it, man. But are you aware, Kenny Stubblefield, that there are no black holidays that are connected to having fun, getting drunk, and all these type of things? Like, there are black holidays, like MLK Day is a black holiday, right? MLK Day, right? You got that. You got Kwanzaa, which is like a week-long thing.
Around the Christmas time. Yep.
Yeah, and you got a new one to the bunch, man. It's not new, but it's kind of getting commercial. It's getting Target running ads for it, and all the companies are doing branding for it. And that's Juneteenth, right? Which is coming up very soon. Like, it's not a new holiday, but it's become commercialized, right? And it's crazy because black people were begging for it to get more attention. And then when it started getting commercialized, oh, we didn't want that kind of attention. Hey, it's coming. It's here. There's no such thing. White people are going to find a way to make money off of stuff that's major like that, right? Anybody is going to find a way to make money. I joke about the white people part. But we don't have a holiday that's like set aside for wilding. You know what I mean? Like, you have regular Independence Day, which is 4th of July, which is the day that's set aside to barbecue and all those type of things. But we don't have just what is strictly for black people, right? So and then you got St. Patrick's Day, right? For our Irish people. Hey, go get drunk. Woo! You got Cinco de Mayo for our Hispanic brothers and sisters, right? Hey, go get drunk, act a fool, do whatever, right? So because of that, we have to migrate to the St. Patrick's Days. We have to migrate to the Cinco de Mayos. And black people are pretty much taking Cinco de Mayo from our Hispanic brothers. If you think I'm lying, drive down Winchester.
Man.
Or not. Or no. I'm telling you. But man, it's something I didn't know was a thing until I was an adult and I went out by mistake to a Mexican restaurant, like Chris said, unaware. And it was flat-foot crazy.
Can I tell you a funny story real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you know, did you ever go to the Happy Mexican over there by BTW? You ever heard of the Happy Mexican?
Yeah.
So my wife and I took some friends over there one May 5th years ago. Didn't know about Cinco de the national holiday that is Cinco de Mayo.
It's not their Independence Day. It's something else, but I don't know. But anyway, go ahead.
And so we were in there, and it was packed, and it started getting wild. Like, we're talking Chris's story about a DJ showing up. Hilarious, because I was having flashbacks.
Hookah.
And like pulling people's hair back, tequila shots straight down the mouth, that kind of stuff. And it started getting pretty wild. And this black man looked over at us at the restaurant, and he leans over our booth and he goes, "Y'all might want to get out of here. Like, you might want to leave. This is about to get crazy." And I was like, "All right, we're leaving."
You got your kids and shit with you.
Yeah, we're like, we're gonna get out of here.
But kids, something like I said, my people love the party. We love a good time. We don't have our own black holiday to, drink and do whatever the hell we want to do. So we just invade y'all shit. So we coming for everybody else's shit, man. So, right. With that being said, a Southaven restaurant said, "Enough of y'all." Maria's Cantina. And Maria, I love you. I love you, Maria. This is the last time you get anything free on the phone.
Said no casa. No how?
No casa. No casa del negro.
No casa.
No mas.
No mas.
No more Air Del Twerko. No more. No hookah. No Deja. No. What's Jay? What's Jay in Spanish, bro?
I don't even know. Oh no!
Oh god!
She waved the white flag, bro. She's like, no.
Maria said, no. Maria said, no.
And in that post, didn't she say something like, "We're working with the Southaven police"? To like, I'm like, dang, Maria.
Oh, man. Dang, bro. Hold on, let me read this joint, bro.
Okay, you go ahead.
Oh, Cinco. This is from Maria's Cantina in Southaven. Oh man. If you want to see some racism, go check out the comments for Maria Cantina on Facebook. Cinco is almost here. Maria's will not be throwing the party that we've had in the past. There will be no live band or DJ this year. We will strictly be concentrating on a family-oriented dining experience.
Wow.
Please come out and enjoy the company of friends and family. Please know that we will be providing a safe and friendly environment, that we'll be working with Southaven Police Department. I don't even like saying them words. I got some horror stories. Who will have a presence at Maria's throughout the day. Bad behavior and rudeness will not be tolerated. In order to accommodate as many of our wonderful guests as possible, we will only be able to seat groups of 8 or less. And we ask to all be courteous of others, waiting and keep their stay at less than 1.5 hours. Thank you, and we hope to see you then. We've had fun joking about this. Black people are not the only people that participate in Cinco de Mayo. They're non-Hispanic. You have white people. Everybody, has a good time for Cinco de Mayo. I just know we take it to a whole nother level. I drove down Winchester last year. There's a lot of Mexican restaurants on Winchester, and I was like, dude, what am I missing? And I'm glad I'm missing it because it's just too much going on for me, man. My anxiety is wired. But I don't think this is particularly targeted towards black people. I can joke about this because I am a black man. I know that we come out in droves for this, and we have taken over this holiday. We would come out with the most offensive sombrero and big mustache and all kind of shit on, just looking ridiculous. Somebody said, I saw this Mexican lady, and she did say she was Mexican. I'm not generalizing. It was a Mexican lady on Facebook. There was a discussion about black people taking over the Cinco de Mayo, right? And she said this year for Juneteenth, my black name is Carlos. No, my black name is Keisha or something like that. I was like, this is messed up. Because the black people be like, hey, my Mexican name is Manuel or whatever.
Manuel.
She said this year for Juneteenth, my black name is Keisha. I was like, man, y'all shit.
This is what's going to be wild is if the next development is the Hispanic community and the black community comes together to celebrate those two holidays, Juneteenth and Cinco de Mayo. That would be dope, man.
What I said, man.
Can I come to that? Am I invited?
Yeah, you can come. Ken. I do not invite white people to barbecues. I hate to even have that conversation. But yeah, you can, wherever I'm at, bro, you can come with me. But I will say this, and I'll cut the joking off, and I'll say this. The way that we go out in droves and spend money, that we will go out in droves and spend money on May the 5th. I wish that black people would pick any day to say, we're going to go out and support black-owned business the same way. And I've seen some restaurants say, hey, we will create blackenized Mexican food on our menu this day. Come party with us. We had a tequila, we had a margaritas, and we can do that. But we're a black-owned restaurant. You know what I mean? We're not a Mexican restaurant, but we'll come celebrate with. I've seen that, but I just wish that we would go out and support some of our restaurants on not particularly this night, but some night. I wish that we would do this more. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I wish we would come out in droves and because man, these restaurants make a lot of money on Cinco de Mayo all day long. You know what I mean?
Right.
So all jokes aside, I wish something like that would happen, man. But if you do decide to get out.
Maybe this is, and we can talk about this off air. Maybe that's something that Anthony Sain show could be a part of.
Yeah, we need to be a part of that, man. Yeah.
Let's do that this year.
But you know what? I've been wanting to do some type of MLK weekend thing, like where it's just like more than just volunteering, more than just Grizzly game, where it's just doing your thing, man, getting lit, get drunk, get some barbecue going, like for real, like. That should be our holiday, in my opinion. It's a little colder than Juneteenth should be it, But Juneteenth just get a little bit too serious for your boy, man. It just get too serious out here. But man, I don't know, man. But whatever you decide to do for Cinco de Negro, whether you visit Maria's Cantinas and have a family time,
I wouldn't go to Maria's. She laid the
they go size you up. I know what you're saying. We don't want y'all out here tonight. I got my kid. I got kids. I got my wife. I mean, come on.
It's a family environment, man.
Right. It's a family environment. Hey, but yeah, man. Yeah. No matter what you're doing, make sure you swing by Create A Cig, man. Get some of that stuff, man. Do what you need to do, man. To put a couple of them up in the air, man, for sure. Well, Kenny, man, we're about to slide about here, man. Great show today. Had a lot of fun. Race can be funny sometimes, man. So just relax, laugh at yourself, man. Have fun.
We can have a good time, man.
You can have a good time discussing the differences in our cultures. Nothing wrong with it. So many things about our differences in culture are just naturally, unintentionally hilarious, and I don't think anything's wrong with that at all. Well, man, for Kenny Stubblefield, on the other side of the screen, for Christian Ingram, man, Chris Ingram, great guest we had today. We'll see you guys next week. But hey, stay on 3 o'clock, $2 Sports Show. It's coming on right after us at 3 o'clock p.m. Check it out here on Bluff City Media. Coming very soon, the Night Court with Brevin Knight and Rob Fisher is coming soon as well. You'll hear more information about that coming in the coming days, coming weeks for sure. But until then, till we see you guys next Wednesday, for Kenny Stubblefield, it's your boy Anthony Sain, and we out.
Thank you for listening to the Anthony Sain Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next week.